Hello and welcome to the Food Fog. Today is April 13th, 2014. It's a Sunday evening. It's been a beautiful spring day. I've spent actually the whole day in my pajamas just doing some spring cleaning, some decluttering, and just that process has made me reflect a little bit on how when we clean up our diets, when we get our food to be clean, that we sometimes aren't prepared for the effect that has, or I guess a ripple effect that has on other aspects of our life. And just like when we clean up our diets, our intention is to feel well and to be well, but we oftentimes hit roadblocks and difficulties changing those behaviors that we used to have. When we finally get to that place where we feel more balanced, other things start to come up. Like we may notice that there's too much clutter in our house, and our consumer habits are too excessive, and we don't feel good about that. So we need to kind of apply the same patterns of cleaning up our life as we did with food, with those things. And then we might even find it trickles down into relationships, behaviors, or just interactions that we used to consider tolerable may just not be acceptable anymore. And oftentimes we're not prepared for that, and we may even, might be even the times where we hit a roadblock in our process of moving towards health, because it's uncomfortable, and we want to buffer that discomfort, and we revert to old habits, whether it's going back to eating foods we don't really consider ideal, or spending money on things that don't really bring value to our lives, or just engaging in relationships that don't really serve us anymore, but just to buffer having to continue on with that process. And I guess what I want to encourage people to do is to look at it like it is a process, and when you hit those roadblocks, it is just a sign that you're on the right track, that just persevere and continue on. Because just like when you cleaned out your body, maybe you had to go through some detox or discomfort there with changing old habits and addictive patterns, you'll have the same challenges with other areas of your life. And maybe I'm sure along anybody who's really worked to get on a clean diet and let go of the processed foods, and really be more conscious of their food choices, has gone through times where they've craved old things, or maybe they've even reverted back to eating some of those things, and maybe they didn't feel well, or they didn't feel good about it, but they decided that that was just an obstacle they had to overcome and to keep going. And this is the same thing with our personal lives or other habits we have. We need to not look at the roadblocks we have as like an actual roadblock where we can't get through it. It's just we have to sit back and think about how to get around it. And like I said, sometimes we're just not prepared for those things to come up. I just changed my diet. I mean, I just changed some of the things I was eating. Big deal. What's that? Why am I feeling all these major shifts in my life? But it really can affect your entire worldview when you start changing what you eat. Because I guess I saw a video a long time ago about processed people, but when you are eating a lot of refined processed foods, your mentality can be, I'm not want to make blanket assumptions, but it can be rather processed. You just you maybe you're kind of not paying attention to the periphery of your life as much. And when you get really clear about where your food comes from and the quality of it, and the energy and energy that went into producing it, and all that stuff, you get really conscious of the energy that it takes to produce everything, and the value those things have in your life, and the friendships, and the relationships, and all the things that take energy and cause you to expend energy. You become much more conscious of those. So I think that just being aware that that's most likely going to happen if you stay on this path long term, it'll make it a lot easier. And I would just say, like, persevere. Just just keep plowing through. It's not an all or nothing thing. When we bring conscious awareness to our lives, it's not always going to be easy to change old patterns, but yeah, when we just keep going, we know we're on the right track, and definitely align yourself with other people that are sharing those same values, and it'll make it a lot easier to keep going. So those are my thoughts for the day, and I guess I'll see you next time. Bye.